What's going on, guys? It's Elias. Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're standing in front of our 10th gen Honda Civic Type R because I want to talk to you guys about what to expect on the next generation. The 11th gen Civic that's coming out pretty soon now. So we're going to be going over a little bit of the history, just a little bit. We're going to be going over what's going to change, what's not going to change, and really what to expect from the new Civic. So this is going to concentrate more on the general Civic overall. It's going to touch on the Type R a little bit. I am going to make a follow-up Type R video. The update to the Type R is coming. So spoiler alert, yes, there's going to be another Type R, and we'll cover that in the next video. So if you want to go ahead and make sure you watch that video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's go ahead and get started. So as of today, the Swindon plant over in England is being closed. It's still making some cars, I believe. I'm not exactly sure when it closed or if it's still open, but if it's not yet closed, it's gonna be closed very soon. And what does that mean? Well, the Swindon plant is where all hatchbacks were made for the Civic platform. All global hatchbacks for Honda were made in the Swindon plant. And since that plant is no longer in operations, where's that gonna go? Well, it's gonna come to North America. And the reason I say all that is because all of the Civics in the world, except for a few possibly in China, are going to be built in the US. So what does that mean for manufacturing? Well, I think the US manufacturing has gotten a lot better over the years, and it's going to be, I think, a little bit better quality build from the US manufacturing. So the other thing that's changing, of course, is that we're getting the 11th gen Civic. So the 11th gen Civic, if you guys have seen the spy photos, I'll put some pictures up here for you guys to see. It looks like a departure from the 10th gen Civic, but honestly, in dimensions and in capacity, it's not that different. So what is the biggest difference? Well, it's the styling. Let's talk about the styling. Now, if you look at the styling and how it is, in my opinion, it's probably not gonna be my favorite styled Civic. Now, I am biased. I do own a 10th gen Civic, and the angular styling from the 10th gen Civic, well, that's gonna go away. A lot of people, a lot of journalists love to complain about how angular and how angry and how aggressive the 10th gen Civic was when it came out, you know, with the fake vents up front and a lot of black plastic cladding everywhere, especially when you contrast it against championship whites. It really does stand out, and that's something that I actually enjoyed of owning the Civic. Now, a lot of people are actually welcoming a more subdued styling for the next generation Civic, and that's going to be for all Civics, from the regular sedan all the way up to the hatchback, even the Type R. So we're losing the coupe version. So if you wanted a coupe version, the 10th gen Civic was your last coupe model from Honda. Honda does not sell a coupe anymore. No more two-doors from Honda. I wish they brought back the S2000. I wish they brought back the Prelude. I don't think that's ever going to happen. There's rumors about the S2000. I'll believe it when I see it. But if you wanted a coupe, the 10th gen Civic was going to be your only choice. So we're left with a sedan version. We're left with a hatchback version, which is awesome. I love hatchbacks. And we are left with a couple of options that we love. So we're gonna have the SI and we're gonna have the Type R. So these are have all been confirmed. We know that's coming. So what does that mean for engine choices? Let's go over that. So in terms of engine choices, right now you have the 1.5T, and that's in all the Civic hatchbacks have the 1.5T. And then the 1.5T is also used on the Accord, it's also used on the CR-V, it's also used on a bunch of different cars, but it's gonna be used in the next generation Civic for sure. Now, it's also going to be made available with the 2.0T, or at least the Civic Type R, the 11th gen Civic Type R will have the 2.0T available as well. So I don't think the power delivery is going to change much. Honda is known to keep their power delivery going for a very long time, because what this really is, this 11th gen, and this has been going on with Honda for a very long time, it's every other production cycle is when there's a major change. Now, if you guys remember, 8th gen to 9th gen Civic, not really that different. No, 9th gen to 10th gen, complete departure from what the 9th gen Civic was. That's because they basically built and refreshed the whole chassis, the whole architecture. They made everything so much better that they spent all their development money on the chassis and on the handling and on how everything goes and the crash structure, all of that. They're not going to change that fundamentally. If you look at the dimensions of the 11th gen Civic, they're going to be the same as the outgoing 10th gen Civic. So that means that all the chassis points are the same, all the crash points are the same. I really doubt you're gonna, when you peel back the sheet metal, there's gonna be almost any difference at all from the 10th gen versus the 11th gen. So what did they really change? Well, like I talked about already, the styling. Now, styling is up to you. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of going softer on the styling. I know why they did it, and I know a lot of you guys are gonna be very welcoming for those changes, but I really enjoy the really angular, angry looks of the 10th gen Civic. So I'm a little bit worried about what they're gonna do with the next gen Civic Type R. Civic Type R has always been a very angry type of car. I mean, if you look at it from here, from this angle, it looks very angular. It looks like it's going to attack something, which is what you want from your sports car, in my opinion. So the next generation Civic Type R is going to be a little bit more subdued because all of the 11th gens are going to be subdued in terms of styling. Where else were the dollars spent? Well, let's step inside my Civic Type R and talk about the interior changes that are coming. All right, so here we are in my hatch of my Civic Type R with a lot of scaffolding back here. Again, I do have to paint my roll cage. That will be coming very soon. But I'm in here because the biggest changes to the next gen Civic and the Civic Type R are going to be in the interior space. So they don't really have to spend that much money on development for the chassis, the suspension, or any of that stuff. That's already been paid for and will continue to be paid for in the next gen Civic. So almost all their development money went into a little bit of design changes, as you saw, going softer, but it's going to be going into the quality and materials of the interior. So a lot of the complaints from the 10th gen Civic have been aimed at the interior of it, and for good reasons. There's a lot of rattles in here. There's a lot of cheap plastics in here. The infotainment system, when the first came out, when the first Civics started rolling out of the factories, were terrible. So, those are all welcome improvements, and one of those things that a lot of people are going to be looking forward to. So they're going to be changing the infotainment significantly. There's already a screen that we've seen kind of bolted on top of the dash, just like every other manufacturer is doing. I think they're going to be copying Mazda or competing against Mazda here. They're going to want to up their game to try to compete against Mazda, and what better interior to compete against than Mazda 3's interior. Mazda 3's are really well done. Their interiors are great. So I think it's going to be a bit of a shame that they're going to go away from the angularness of the current generation. But let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Do you agree with the direction of the next gen Civic? Do you like the softer lines, or do you think the aggressiveness of the 10th gen is going to be missed? Again, let me know in the comments if you think you prefer the 10th gen or the 11th gen coming up. Which one do you prefer? And are you thinking about getting an 11th gen Civic? Let me know in the comments as well. I'm actually curious to see how many people are going to be getting that next generation Civic. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope it was informative and that you guys learned something and I was able to give you some value. If I did, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment below like I've asked you to do, and subscribe if you like the videos. Thanks for watching again. See you next time. Peace.